listening to the Phantasmic exit music, and I was like, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da. Dcp phone interview. So I have some tips that I compiled for you guys, and then also I'm going to be talking about the different questions that I was asked during my interview. So my interview was a week ago, last Wednesday, January 31st. I had Amy, and she was wonderful. She was so amazing. She laughed at my bad jokes. She's the real MVP, let's just be honest. So to start off the video, I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks on how to do well on your phone interview. Let's jump right into it. First thing I wanted to actually talk about was just scheduling when your phone interview takes place. It actually kind of matters a little bit. If you schedule it too early for yourself or too late, you might be either too tired and groggy from waking up, or you might be too tired after a long day. So you want to make sure that you schedule it for a time that fits into your schedule. Personally, for me, I live on the West Coast, and I didn't want to schedule it at 6 in the morning. That was the earliest that I had the option to do because they start them at 9. That's where the recruiters are, I'm assuming, on the East Coast. And I knew that I was not going to be able to function if I had my interview at 6 in the morning. Now, I do have a tip, and that is the earlier you schedule it, the earlier in the day the recruiters are talking to you, and the less people they've gone throughout the day. So they're probably more apt to be a little bit cheerier in the beginning of the day since they haven't done as many phone interviews. Whereas if you schedule yours at 10 p.m., they're probably like, okay, this is the last one. I'm almost done. Also, if you schedule your interview in the beginning of the day, you won't have to go through the entire day thinking about it, worrying about it, stressing about it. That's why I scheduled mine for 8:30 in the morning. I knew it would give me a decent amount of time to relax and not worry about it while I was going through classes or anything like that. The next topic that I want to talk about is preparation. Now, I don't think that you should spend hours, days, weeks preparing a 10-page cheat sheet. I think that a cheat sheet is extremely helpful. I've used a cheat sheet, but I used about 2.5 pages, and I printed out my work experience, cut it out, and put it on the different pages that I corresponded with what I was going to be talking about, like attractions. I put my theater experience in the corner so that I could see if she asked me anything about that. I wrote down why I wanted to do the Disney College program, why I love Disney, not necessarily Disney, but like what I like about the company aspect of it. Because to be honest, the recruiters know that you love Disney. That's why you're applying for the Disney College program. So you don't necessarily need to sell them on why you're the biggest #1 Disney fan in the entire world. They want to know why you want to work for the Disney College program as opposed to other internships, and that's actually one of the questions that I was asked. I also prepared my top 2 roles, which were PhotoPass and attractions. I wrote the most about like questions that they could ask me so that I would feel like I could sell myself better on those 2, I guess. And I also wrote down some scenarios that most people get asked in their phone interview, like what would you do in an emergency situation? Have you ever experienced having a difficult customer? And I think, and my basic qualifications. I have a couple people that I know that didn't prepare as much, and I had a couple people I know that had over-prepared. And it's not bad to over-prepare, but in the long run, you might be searching for something and then just be like, oh no, I can't remember where the question I wanted to answer was. So if you have too much information, you might not be able to find what you're looking for when the interview is taking place. So keep in mind of that. I also had a place to write down my interviewer's name. Now they say this in every video, and it is important. In any interview, you should always address the person by their name. It makes you seem more cordial, like you're remembering things, you're professional, and you're just a friendly person. You want to say the person's name and ask how they're doing. Alright, now on to the actual questions. Now I'm not going to go through and tell you the questions and then tell you all of my answers. I'll give you a little bit of gist of what I said, but if I did that, then the video would be about 30 minutes too long. I was scheduled for 8:30 and she called at 8:26, but I was ready at like 8 o'clock. I was sitting down, zen. I was listening to the Phantasmic exit music, which is a bop, and I was like, and then she called and I was like, oh crap. So when she called, made sure to write down her name, and I said, hi Amy, I'm doing great this morning, how are you? You know, trying to switch it up just to be like, I'm good, because that's not different. They just ask your general confirmation, your school, your major, if you have tattoos or piercings, if you're receptive to the Disney look, if you're receptive to the pay rate, and then she went into like living with roommates. She asked me how, if there was ever any conflict, how we dealt with that, and I said not really, but we made sure to communicate. And then she asked me the same question, but like, she said, so let's say you were living with 7 other girls, how would you then? I basically reiterated what I already said, communication is key, maybe keeping a chore chart, stuff like that. Super easy. You can't really get the question wrong unless you're like, I'm just gonna let it play out and see what happens. Then she asked why this program opposed to so many others. I mean, it was really like, there's thousands of other, internships, why the Disney College program? She asked me a few questions about my work experience, not specifically related to any roles, like skills. So that threw me off a little bit because I wasn't expecting that. It was questions about the skills I had accumulated in other jobs and how that would like benefit the company, I guess. I think I answered them, a little bit rough at first, but then I pulled it together, but I wasn't ready for it. She asked, why would the DCP help you in your major and what would you bring to the company based on your previous experience? So kind of what I said before. She asked me to tell her about my busiest day at work, and then she asked, have you ever been in an emergency situation at work and how did you handle it? And I haven't, but I said, if you're trained in like allergy prevention or you're trained in emergency prevention, talk about that, because instead of saying, oh no, I haven't, and just leaving it, talk about something or bring in, well, I haven't, but I would do this in this situation. So we talked about 5 roles in my interview, and that was attractions, photo pass, quick service food and beverage, merchandise, and Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. My top 2 are photo pass and attractions. And I was really nervous that the whole time she was gonna ask me about like quick service and merchandise, since those are 2 pretty high needs roles, and she didn't actually. We talked the most about attractions. But she asked me for quick service, like one question that was split into 3 parts. Other than like what we talked about when I worked at Jamba Juice, she was like, are you receptive to working in the front, the back, or cleaning in a restaurant? And she asked me those separately, like, are you receptive to working in the front, like blah, 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 blah. Are you receptive to working in the back, like blah, 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 blah. So I said yes to all of them, of course. Then for merchandise, she really didn't ask me anything, which I was glad about, because merchandise is like my lowest high interest role, so phew. And she basically said, why do you like to sell things? So that was weird, it threw me off, but I said I like helping people. I elaborated more, but these are just general answers. And then for attractions, she asked me, say a child came to Splash Mountain too short to ride, how would you handle it? Are you comfortable speaking in front of large crowds? But I put that on my application in my theater experience, so she kind of reiterated it and was like, so I see that you're comfortable speaking in large crowds. And then she asked, would you be comfortable speaking on a microphone? Would you be comfortable speaking on a microphone on a moving vehicle? There were a couple more, I can't think of the specifics. And then moving to PhotoPass, she asked me what my experience with cameras were, and I have Nikon and Canon experience, but I made sure to tell her that I wasn't a professional and that I was open to learning new things, because Disney really doesn't want to hire somebody who's already a professional, because then they can't train them to take pictures how Disney wants you to take photos. So she was like, oh yeah, of course. She asked, would I be comfortable working waist deep in at a water park? And I was like, wow, that sounds really cool. Like, it's not my first choice, but I'm open to everything when it, depending on the role, I'm open to things. And then she asked me something I hadn't heard before, but I think I had a good answer for it. She said, say a guest wasn't interested in taking a photo, how would you approach them? And I kind of was like, trying to sell, because I think it had to do with like upselling. And then for the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, she asked if I had any experience doing a girl's hair, any experience doing stage makeup, and if I was comfortable touching other guests, like touching their hair. And I was like, yeah, of course. I think Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique would be fun. It's not my top role, but I think it would be awesome. Like, I know they don't give it to a lot of CPs, so. And then there were a few questions there in between, but that was pretty much it. At the end of your interview, your recruiter will ask if you have any questions for them. Now, this is important to know. You should ask them questions, because that shows that you're professional, that you want to learn more, and that you're interested in the position. Now, they know you're interested in the position, but it shows maybe that you've done your research and you want to learn more. So I asked if there were any networking opportunities and what kind of opportunities there were. And she basically told me that there were, and it depends on what role you get. So like if I was PhotoPass, I would get like photography networking, which is like my number one thing, because one of my career goals is to possibly be like a professional photographer for the Disney company. So I also asked her if there were any professional internships for photography, and that was the one that she actually didn't know the answer for. And I felt so bad because she was searching for it for like 5 minutes, and then I was like, oh, it's okay if you can't find anything. She's like, no, I'm almost there. So it was so cute. And then I asked if I could request any locations, and she said yes, and they were just requests, but she would love to write down anything I was interested in. So if you get the chance, or you feel, you have the courage, ask to request a location. The recruiters are happy to write down your preferences for you. So I requested for attractions, Splash Mountain, Jungle Cruise, Pirates of the Caribbean, and then I realized that they were all water rides, and I'm like, wow, I really like water rides. And then for PhotoPass, I requested Main Street USA, but honestly for PhotoPass, I would be happy anywhere. I don't know why I requested a location. I guess it's just because I've heard really great things about working on Main Street, like taking photos of people watching the parades. That's like my number one thing that I want to do. That sounds so amazing. I love taking candid shots. So those are just about all the tips and tricks that I have for you guys. If you have any other questions, please feel free to leave me a comment in the comments down below. I love answering questions. I love getting comments. It's like one of my favorite things to see on my phone. So commented on your video, and I'm like, yes. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see when I post a new video, and hopefully this video helped you. Good luck on any phone interviews that you have in the future, and if you're still in applied or you're waiting to apply, I hope this video helps you in the future. Also, make sure to like this video if you want to see more videos like this. I want to know what you guys want to see from me. So if you do have any suggestions, like I said, comment them down below, and I will definitely take everything into consideration. Thanks for watching, and have a magical day!